Hi Flosstube, I'm Rachel, Stitchy Rach here on Flosstube and on Instagram. It is Friday the 27th of May and this is a YouTube channel about cross stitch. Hi everyone, how are you? Welcome to my channel if it's the first time you've been here, and welcome back if you're a returning viewer. I hope you'll hang around and see what I've got to show you today, which is unsurprisingly cross stitch. It's been a beautiful day today here in Kent. It's been really sunny. I've been out in my garden, but it has basically rained since I filmed last week. I think we've had rain every day, which we definitely needed, but yeah, it was starting to be a bit like, oh, it's raining again. Can't put my washing on the line again. But no, it's now hopefully going to be a super nice weekend. What have I done since I last saw you? Nothing really. Life's just been kind of plodding along, getting things done. I finished my Stitch Mania. My last day was Sunday, and then I've just been doing some ordinary stitching, and then last night, Thursday night, I didn't stitch at all. In fact, I didn't stitch at all yesterday, and that is, for me, that's a really big thing. That's a day worth noting. Just before I came and filmed, I went and had a look through my diary because I keep a kind of tracker of when I've stitched, and the last time I had a day that I didn't put a single stitch in was February. So it's yeah, you know, it's notable when I don't stitch at all. And there wasn't really any reason. My husband worked from home. He's on holiday today. He's actually gone and done the school run. So for once, I'm not going to be like, oh, I've got to go do the school run. So he's gone to do the school run. But he worked from home yesterday, and yeah, we just had a couple of glasses of wine and we were chatting, and yeah, you know, so yeah, I ended up not stitching. What have I got to show you today? I've got the end of my Stitch Mania pieces and then what I've been stitching since then. So I think I've got I've got 5 whips to show you. I've got my knitting update. I have the teentiest, tiniest bit of haul, and given that we're at the end of May, pretty much, I'll do some plans of what I want to do for June, which should be interesting because I'm not actually sure I know. So we might be making that up together as we go along. What else have I got to say? Oh yes, thank you. If you watched my video last week, you will know that I had a piece that I was thinking about UFOing. And thank you everyone who commented and gave me your thoughts about that piece. And that piece was Sans Souci by Long Dog Samplers, which I'd had a small start on and wasn't entirely sure about my fabric and thread choice. And I think all of you that commented also agreed that you weren't entirely sure about my fabric and thread choice. And I think you probably knew that I was going to UFO it anyway. So I have UFO'd it. I have taken everything out of the bag. I started pulling out the stitches, and yeah, I'm just gonna put it away and think about it. I'm not in a rush to restart it. I have enough whips. I don't need that piece in my life, and I think I just need to step away from it. I have one potential idea as to what I might do, but I'm just gonna mull it for a little while and see how I feel about it. So thank you. I don't UFO things very often. It is really, really unusual. I'm like it with all kinds of things. I'm like that with books I read. Anything I start, I'm kind of like, I've started, so I must finish. But yeah, that was quite unusual. But thank you for confirming that my suspicion was correct, that that wasn't going to work. So UFO'd. Right, shall we crack on with some whips? What have I got? I think I have some photos of where they were last time, but I don't for all of them, and I don't for this one. So I'm going to try and insert them as I go along. And I think you may have noticed if you watched the last video that halfway through I changed how I inserted the photo, because I think with my video editing software, because I only use iMovie, I don't do anything fancy, that putting them up in the corner, I was getting like a funny effect in my eyes, and then when I just put them as a whole screen, I didn't get that. So I think I'm gonna stick with doing that. So I hope that kind of worked for you all, rather than me kind of inserting a little picture. Anyway, so the first thing I am going to show you is my out and about stitching, which is still Seize the Day by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This this is still available on their website. I definitely don't have a photo of where this was last time to show you. I will try and remember. I'm going to take this out with me after I've filmed. I've got to take my eldest to a piano lesson, and I'll take this with me, and I will try and remember to take a picture of where it was last time. But this is where it is now. So I know that since last time I've done that hat and the message in a bottle down the side, and I've finished off the top of the parasol, and I've finished that beach hut, because I don't know if you remember, I had a few bits where there were like random bits of stitching missing, and it was because the threads weren't in the project bag and I needed to go and find them, and I hadn't got round to finding them. Oh, and I've started this cloud up here. This hat might need some bits of it ripping out, so I'm kind of going, oh, do I really want to rip it out? It's not much, I think I probably will. But I stitched it all in one colour, and it was meant to be in 2 colours, and I think it'll look better if I just rip it out and just redo that little bit. This is stitched on 32 count Belfast linen in the colour Gold Rush by Crafty Kitten Fabrics, who are no longer trading. And it's stitched in all the called for DMC. And that's that. I am still plugging away. I am starting to feel I might need a change. Although, as I said, I managed to settle an argument between 2 children by saying one of them could have this. So, and she really wants it. Particularly because she likes the mermaid at the bottom. So I am feeling I need a break from it. We'll see, we'll see. I'll stitch on it for the rest of, well, there's not going to be much else about stitching this week, because today's the last day of the school half term. So they've got a week off, and then they go back to school. So there aren't really any clubs and out and about stitching this week. So I'll take it this evening, and I'll take it to swimming stitching tomorrow. And then I'll see how I feel, because I'm having a week off, I might feel like it again after half term. We'll see, we'll see. Someone's texting me. Who's texting me? Who's texting me? It's probably not from me, it's probably a WhatsApp group. Oh no, it's actually a text message. Oh, it's about my dentist appointment next week. It's not very exciting, is it? It's not very exciting. It's asking me to complete some forms before I go to the dentist. Right. There we go, so that was my out and about stitching. And then there were 3 days of Maynia left, weren't there? So on Friday last week, after I had spoken to you, I got out my piece for the 20th of May, which is Good Ship. Is it going to focus? There you go, Good Ship Sampler by Hands On Design. There. I'm doing the big one, not the little one up there. So I'm doing the big sampler one. This has had 3 days of stitching on it. So just the days. I started Stitch Maynia 2020. And it's had the 3 days of Stitch Maynia stitching on. Which is a bit sad, because I do like it. I think I have a picture of where this was last time. If so, I will insert it here. And this is where it is now. So not huge amounts of progress. I got a bit more on the inside of that bottle done, but that's all. This is stitched on 40 count antique white linen. And I did my own conversion. It is, well, the chart actually calls for Romy's Creations threads, which I've never heard of at all. Looks like they're Italian. I haven't even googled them, but it does have a standard fancy floss conversion to, I'm sorry, was I flashing a load of chart there? To Gentle Arts and Weeks Dye Works, and it also has a DMC conversion as well. But I didn't do any of those, I did my own conversion, which is, I'm holding that the wrong way up, which is not far from what is called, but it is what I had in stash. I particularly like this, which I'm going to be using for the seat. But can you see how variegated that is? I think that is fab. And that is Colour and Cotton Lagoon. Let's say that was in my stash. But yeah, it's a whole just collection of things I had in my stash. I quite like this one as well, which I'm using for the bottle. That's Frosted Sage by Classic Colourworks. Yeah, so very happy with that. And if anyone is interested, I'm happy to give you my conversion on that one. Maybe wait till it's finished and see what it looks like in a billion years. I don't know when that's coming back out again. Right, and then on the 21st, I did the piece I started last year on the 21st. And again, I think this has only had Stitch Maynia stitching on it. And this is Arranging Microbes by Ink Circles. I love this. This is for my children's bathroom. They have a kind of a shower room just off their playroom. And one of my children in particular is very bad about washing off the hands. I think I have a picture of where this was last time and I'll insert it now. And I'm just going to work out which way up this goes. Here is where it is now. So a reasonable bit of progress. I'm just obviously working on this big Petri dish in the middle and kind of coming around the side. This is again stitched on 40 count. I think this is just white 40 count linen. And I'm stitching it with all the called for threads, which are all Weeks Dye Works. And I love the colour palette on this piece. What a fun colour palette. Because I don't think we get to use these really vibrant colours enough, really, in our stitching. Particularly if we're kind of generally prim stitchers. But how fun is that? How fun is that? Again, I don't know when that's coming back out. But I really like it. I think that's the first time I've stitched on Ink Circles as well. So, there we go. And then the final day of Stitch Mania, I got my final new start. And obviously there was only one left from what I picked out. And my final new start of this year's Stitch Mania was the fox. There he is. And you've all seen the fox, right? I think we've all seen the fox to death. I'm stitching him in all the called for. Everything is called for. Because I had in my stash the fabric. The fabric is, what's it called for? Because it is that Mirage. Mirage by Picture This Plus. And I had some in my stash. Because I think we all know how hard getting hold of Picture This Plus is at the moment, don't we? And I have a teensy tiny start. Because I didn't get a lot of stitching done on Sunday. And it's there. Can you see? You see the tree here? Kind of is blending in a little bit on camera. It doesn't in real life. It's really clear in real life, but the camera just seems to be having a bit of trouble picking it up. Anyway, I hope you can see that. I will say, and I've said a lot, haven't I? Oh, I don't struggle with small fabric. I don't struggle with dark fabric. And I don't think this fabric is overly dark. But it must be said, with the 40 count, I did struggle a bit. And I was stitching it in hand, and I think next time I get this out, I'm going to put it on a snap, and I'm just going to get it really taut. I think that will help with seeing what I'm doing. Because are any of you like this? I really swing and roundabout between stitching in some kind of frame and stitching in hand. So I learnt to stitch in hand. That's how I learned. And when I was in my late teens, perhaps when I was at university, I decided that my stitches didn't look the nicest. And so I started stitching in a hoop. And I thought it made my stitches look nice. I think probably it just slowed me down a bit. Because I used to, when I was younger, I was a really lazy stitcher. So I'd use the sew method, which is nothing wrong with, but I'd go through more than one hole at a time with the sew method and then just pull the whole lot through. Lazy stitcher. So I started stitching in a frame, and I stitched in a frame for years. And then And then stitching in hand felt really kind of ungainly and loads of stuff flapping everywhere. And then when I started stitching out and about, I was like, I don't really want to take a frame with me everywhere I go. Like, even just a little Q-snap, it's just a bit of a pain. And I did miss doing the sewing method. So at the moment, I'm going through a bit of a stitch in hand phase, but it really, really depends. And it depends on the projects and it depends on the day. So some projects have had stitching on them, both in hand and on a snap. And I can't actually tell the difference, because you'd think it would make a visible difference, wouldn't you, to your stitches? But I can't tell. On the pieces where I know they've had some stitching on a frame of some description and some stitching in hand, I can't tell the difference. But I think because I was struggling with the fabric on this, I will put it in a frame next time I stitch on it. And that was the end of my Stitch Mania for this year. And I did enjoy it. But as I was going through it, I was a bit sad that I have some really lovely projects that I've started. I'm trying to fold this up and I can't fold it in a good way. I have some really lovely projects that I've started over the years during May. This was the third time I've done a Stitch Mania, and I've never done a full, apart from the first time I did it, it's not like every year I've started, 20 odd things. But there are things in there, like some of the ones I've shown you today, that I really like and just never ever get to. So I've already decided that next year I'm not going to do a Stitch Mania like the one I did this year. I'm not going to start new things. In fact, I'm semi-thinking about a no new start year next year. Because I think I've mentioned before, it's my big birthday next year. And I know loads of people do loads of starts for when they turn 40. And I don't want it. Not at the moment. I mean, we'll see where we get to by the time we get to next year, because we're still a bit over 6 months away, aren't we? But I'm just not in a start mood at the moment. I've got so many whips. I'd have to count, but I must be somewhere around 30 whips. And I like them and I want to work on them, and I don't want to start new things. And I am starting something for my birthday this year, and I'm going to join Crafting Kirsty's birthday sale. And then I think, I've got enough. I've got enough to be getting on with. To be honest, I've probably got enough to see out the next 40 years if I'm lucky enough to get 40 more years. So, yeah, I'm kind of thinking next year might be a no new starts year. Because I'm hoping to get, my 2 really big whips off the decks. And then I feel I'll be able to just stitch on whatever I want. Because those 2 I'm feeling the pressure of those 2 whips now. I just want them done. So if I get those done this year, and I can spend next year just stitching on whatever the hell I like. And then I might have a really big new start for my birthday. And I kind of know what it might be. But I don't know if I want to share that yet, because I'm not quite sure enough. And some of you will be like, you're planning on doing what? So, yeah. I'm ruminating things in my mind. Right, I've got one more whip. I'm just kind of whittling. Hold on. I just heard the car. I think my husband's back from the schoolroom. Well, one schoolroom. Our children don't all go to the same school, so there's more than one schoolroom. So after I finished Stitch Mania, I got my Snoopy Afghan back out. I'm not going to show it all to you today because, as you know, if you've been here before, it's massive. But I picked this back up, and before Stitch Mania, if any of you remember that far back, I'd started working on Peppermint Patty, and I have a picture of where she was last time, which I'll put here. And here is Peppermint Patty now. Oh. And it's really hard to show you because I've got a Q-snap on the square next to her. There she is! I love her. I love Peppermint Patty. She is my 100% favourite member of the Peanuts gang. I just love everything about her. She is my idol. I want to be her when I grow up. So I finished Peppermint Patty. She took me 2 days? 3 days? Where are we? We're on Friday, Monday. No, I think I must have finished on Tuesday. Yeah, Monday and Tuesday I stitched on Patty. And then Wednesday, or Tuesday, after I'd finished Patty on Tuesday, I then moved on to the next block. I stitched on that Tuesday and Wednesday, and then yesterday I didn't stitch because who am I? Who am I? And this is, let me find it, I'll just find the pattern. The pattern is, I'm doing these colourful squares with Snoopy in them. And this is obviously the yellow one, but as you can see I've only just started it. And these tend to take me a bit longer because they are kind of full coverage on the Afghan. This is stitched on, so I got an Afghan fabric, I couldn't think of the name there. Stitched in all the called for DMC, and the patterns are from a range of Peanuts leaflets. This one's called Peanuts in Cross Stitch. Peppermint Patty's one from one called Peanuts Cross Stitch Magnets, I think. These are all out of print. They were originally published by Leisure Arts, or Leisure Arts as we would say in the UK, in the 90s. I found them on eBay. So set up a safe search if that's something you are interested in, is what I would recommend. So yeah, I'm plugging away on those. And after this block I have 4 blocks left. 4 blocks left. So yeah, I'm really feeling this one is, I don't feel as confident with that massive alphabet, but this one I'm kind of going, yeah. And these, the people, so I've got 3 people left to do after I finish this. And I've got one like this and then one more like this. And these take a bit longer. But these ones take 4 days, 5 days. They're not long stitches, they don't take me a long time. So yeah, I'm really feeling this is getting near the end. Right, and that's what I've been stitching in the last week since I last saw you. So, plans. Jessie Marie has drawn the WIPGO numbers for June, and I'm going to insert a picture of my WIPGO board here. And I'm going to insert it over my face, so I'm going to talk to you and you're going to look at my WIPGO board. So, what's been called for June, box number 16, which is another square on the Peanuts Afghan, and box number 9, which is to do the X block in my big alphabet sampler. You can see from the board I'm showing you that I am 1 goal behind overall, which I might get to by the end of May, so probably the 27th. So still 5 stitching days in May, but I probably won't finish that Peanuts Afghan block in 5 days. We'll see, it depends how much stitching gets done. But I think it's unlikely. So I'm 1 block behind, but I'm not worried about that because these are year-long goals. And I'm only I know there are several light grey blocks that you can see, but at the top there are all 2 of those light grey blocks are the June goals, so they're not meant to be done yet anyway. And then there's 3 other light grey blocks, but I also have 2 dark grey blocks that are things that I've finished but haven't been called. So obviously the months they're called, I kind of have a free space to finish some of the other things. So overall I'm only 1 goal behind where I'm meant to be. So what am I going to do in June for my stitching? I think I've got 2 choices. I can just do what's been called, which I might do, and just get another block done on the Peanuts and get on with the X block, because I kind of want to stay on top of that alphabet sampler. I don't want it to get away from me. So I am tempted to kind of just go with what's been called. But another part of me is really tempted to just blitz this Peanuts blanket for a month and just see how near the finish I can get. So as I say, I haven't really decided what I am going to do. And I don't think I'm going to try and commit myself. I will work on one of those 2 things. I may work on both those things, but That's my focus. And actually, after a month of dotting round here, there and everywhere between loads and loads of different projects, between 22 different projects, the thought of actually just getting stuck into something and getting some really, really solid progress is really appealing. By the time I started that fox on the 22nd, to be honest, I was kind of over it. I kind of didn't want to start him that day. Even though I really wanted to start him, I was just so over new starts and a different project every day. I was just fed up of it. And so when I sat down on Monday night to my Snoopy blanket, I was just like, this is fantastic. Just being able to just actually get really stuck into something was a real relief, actually. Do you know, once upon a time I was a monogamous stitcher? Not even that long ago. Probably only 5-6 years ago. I'd only ever have one cross stitch on the go at once. So maybe the monogamy is kind of coming back to me. Right, so that's plans. I've shown you my whips. I know the plans wasn't very planny. It was more like, I'll stitch on something. But I think that's basically what I said. I've got some knitting to show you. But annoyingly, I forgot to move the stitch marker after I showed it to you last week, so I don't actually know how much I've done since you saw it last week. But I know I have done quite a bit of knitting because, do you remember, I was going to the poetry competition at school? And I've got some wool caught in this zip, I think. Oh no! Wool caught in the zipper of my bag. I think it's something I'm not using anymore. I hope it's something I'm not using anymore. Yeah, it was the tail. It was the tail of my knitting. So here's where I am. Now, I know I was still using number 4, wasn't I? So I think... where do I think it was? I think it must have been, if you can you see there's a pearl row here that's sticking out? I think I've done everything from there upwards since you last saw it, and I'm just going round with colour 5 at the moment. And then there's 2 more colours, 2 more balls to go. So we are getting there, it's really nearly there. I think I've got, how many more rows to do? Maybe another 40 rows, something like that. So we're getting there, we're nearly there. And it'll be the perfect weather to wear a cowl when I finish this in the middle of July. And I do have a cardigan to cast on next. So yeah, so that's where I am my knitting. And shall I move the stitch marker now so I remember? Because there's no point in having this stitch marker to show how much I've done since last time if I forget to move the stitch marker. Let's pop it in that one. Cheating, I'm giving myself 1 extra stitch. I just don't want to put it in the stitch that I've only just stitched because it'll be a bit loose. So there it is. Right, so next time I'll actually be able to show you how much I've done. Yeah, I'm nearly done now. What else have I got to tell you? I've got a tiny bit of haul, and it is a teeny tiny bit of haul. So this is from Lakeside Needlecraft, and I got some DMC. I got 919, 921 and 3865, which were missing from various things. So I got those. And because I was doing a thread order, I got some more threads for my own kind of Gentle Arts thread club. If you haven't been here before, in the UK I can't find a thread club that gives you a set of Gentle Arts. So what I do is when I put in an order, I just add 5 skeins of Gentle Arts, and I'm just slowly, with every order I do, building up my collection of Gentle Arts. So I got Claret, that's a nice red, like that. I got Cinnamon. I think I have some cinnamon. Is that in-house on Pumpkin Hill? Might be. Cherry Wine. I like that as well. Sorry, the thing just stopped itself. So what else have I got? Cinders. and Cameo Pink. So they're the 5 gentle arts I got. They're a very red collection actually this time, weren't they? It's only really the cinnamon that isn't in the kind of reddy pinky spectrum. And that's it, that's all I've got for you today. I'm intending to get back on my normal bi-weekly bi-weekly filming schedule. I won't see you next week and it's half term, so that kind of all works well. Yes, I'll see you kind of when we're, I suppose, nearly in the middle of June, because what is it next Friday? Next Friday's the 3rd. Oh, it'd be like the 10th. Yes, like nearly the middle of June. Cool. Well, have a lovely end of May. If you're still doing Stitch Mania, good on you. I think that would be too much for me. If you're in the UK, I hope you're enjoying the sunny weather, and I hope you enjoy our extended bank holiday weekend. For those of you not in the UK, you may or may not have gathered that it is our Queen's Platinum Jubilee this year, and we are having an extended public holiday this coming week. So Thursday and Friday are going to be public holidays. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you have a job where you don't have to work weekends. All to celebrate Her Majesty's 70 years on the throne over this country. Yeah, so enjoy your bank holiday if you're in this country and you're getting one. Enjoy the weather. I hope your gardens are growing. I hope your stitches are growing. I hope you are all well. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. See you later, Stitchers. Bye.